Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to make a brief statement. This is the Ministerial Council meeting of the West African Science Service Center for Climate Change and Adaptive Land Use. This is an initiative of 10 West African countries and Germany, made up of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, Ghana, and Germany. The center has been financed for the past half decade by the government of Germany, and essentially it has established the infrastructure in the West African sub-region for gathering data, analyzing data, for policy making, and even private sector use in relation to climate change and adaptive land use. Beyond that, the funding has also gone into developing the human resource of the West African sub-region, involving the training of over 200 graduates across the sub-region in specialized areas relating to studies involving the climate and related matters. This infrastructure is absolutely necessary for the development of the capacity of the sub-region to prepare itself to combat the negative impact of climate change, and we find it an excellent model that could be replicated across the world as we move close to agreeing on the Sustainable Development Goals and the institutional framework for their achievement, and also as we try to conclude global agreement on addressing the issues of the environment in Paris. And we hope that this model will get replicated when we meet at these important fora to conclude on these agreements. We want to thank the federal government for the support that has been extended to us, but more importantly, we want to reaffirm our commitment as African countries to sustain this initiative by making the contribution necessary individually as countries to ensure that this initiative is sustained and is made even more relevant to the challenges of our various countries. We believe that the German government will continue to partner us along these lines. I thank you very much.
Exclusive interview with Honorable Minister Mahama Yariga, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation from the Republic of Ghana. Honorable Minister, climate change is one of the most challenging issues facing rural Africa. What are the measures your ministry is taking to address the issue in Ghana?
Climate change threatens all of us, both rural and urban. Most countries have coastal zones, and in the countries that have coastal zones, the evidence shows that increasingly a large section of the population is moving to those coastal zones, both the rural and the urban. In Ghana, for instance, more than 25% of the population of Ghana now lives within 100 kilometers of the coastline. And the most important infrastructure of the country is also located there, both in terms of the industry, like the factories in Tema, Takoradi, and other places, universities. Most infrastructure is located within that 100-kilometer area. If the sea level rises, sometimes even by very small levels, it endangers all these assets. When there are floods, as we recently experienced in Ghana, it endangers the lives of so many people. For the rural areas, the impact of climate change on rainfall patterns and the impact of inappropriate land use on agriculture is all having very negative and debilitating consequences on the economies of rural parts of the country, and ultimately on an annual basis not less than 10% of GDP is lost to the negative impacts of climate change. So the issue of climate change has become central to the development agenda of our country. As a result, every effort is being made to address this, one by ensuring that we develop the appropriate research capability to be able to assemble the right kind of information to inform policy decisions that would address the issues of climate change. Institutions are being created to enforce appropriate land use systems that will go a long way to address climate change. But most importantly, we are taking efforts to address the impact of climate change by such things as promoting afforestation, preventing the emission of CO2 gases into the atmosphere through the use of technologies that are greener and promoting lifestyles that are greener. And we believe that collectively we should be able to address the issues of climate change.